Hi and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 7-8 long-term presentation. I'm Ella. Today, we're talking about the city that never sleeps. First of all, have you ever been to New York? Who here has been to New York? Please raise your hand. Okay, I see some of you. Put your hands down, please. So, if you have been to New York, you will know some more about it. And if you have not been to New York before, you will know some interesting facts about it. Now, where is New York City? New York is in the east coast of the US. It's small, but it's really big. There are so many people here. Where do they live and where do they work? Let's welcome the first group to tell us about it. Come on, Emily and Anne.
Hello everyone, my name is Emily. And today we're going to tell you about the 5 boroughs. First of all, let me just ask you a question. What do you think of when you picture New York City? If you're like most people, you probably think of Brooklyn or Manhattan. But New York is much more than that. It's actually made of 5 boroughs or parts. There are Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. And each has its own characters and attractions.
What's this?
And there is the first borough, Manhattan. Manhattan is the smallest borough of the 5, and it's the symbol of New York City. There are some popular places in Manhattan, like Times Square, Central Park, and New York Harbor. This is Central Park and the Statue of Liberty. Many people think that the Statue of Liberty is in Manhattan, but actually it's in New Jersey. So the second borough is Brooklyn. It's on the western tip of Long Island, and it has the longest beachfront shoreline and 2 largest parks, which are Marine Park and Prospect Park. And it's also home to Coney Island, which has a fun theme park. The third borough is Queens. It's the largest borough, and it's the north of Long Island and east of Brooklyn. There is Citi Field. Citi Field is Citi Field Baseball Stadium. It's where the New York Mets play. Bronx is the northernmost borough and the only one that is in U.S. mainland. And the right one was Yankee Stadium, and it's the baseball stadium of the New York Yankees. And the left picture is the Bronx Zoo, and it houses over 6,000 animals, and it's the world's largest metropolitan zoo. And the last borough is Staten Island. It's the most suburban borough, and it's connected to Brooklyn by the Verrazano Narrows Bridge and to Manhattan by the way of the Staten Island Ferry. It is known as the most growing borough of the 5 boroughs. Now, welcome Vivian and Julie to tell us about the history of New York. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Julie.
And Vivian. Nowadays, New York is a modern industrial city, but it wasn't always that way. It has changed a lot over time. But what do you know about its colorful history? Come with us now as we travel back to explore this fascinating city.
First Westerner to explore what is now New York was the Italian explorer Giovanni da Verrazano in 1524.
And in 1624, Dutch settlers falling from the local Indians on what is now Manhattan Island, renamed New Amsterdam. And 40 years later, the British Navy defeated the Dutch and renamed the land New York in honor of Duke York.
After the War of Independence, British withdrew New York from New York in 1783. New York was briefly the American capital from 1785 to 1790.
In 1857, Central Park was built. It's the largest park in Manhattan, covering 843 acres. It has a lot of scenic spots, such as a zoo, a theater, a fountain, a meadow, a castle, and even strawberry fields. The strawberry fields was dedicated to the memory of John Lennon, a member in Beatles.
In 1886, the Statue of Liberty was completed. It was a gift from France to New York to America to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Currently, a lot of people think that it is in New York, but actually it is in New Jersey.
And on October 27, 1904, the first west line of the subway line in New York City opened to traffic. And in 1952, the New York became the permanent headquarters of the United Nations. And then in 1964, the first World's Fair was held in New York City. It commemorates the 300 years since New York's founding. The iconic symbol is the Unisphere. It is in the shape of a globe.
In 2001, a strategy struck on September 11. Terrorists hijacked two planes and crashed into the World Trade Center tower in Lower Manhattan. On that day, almost 3,000 people died and two buildings collapsed.
And in 2011, James Carousel was the first carousel to be listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It has 48 elegant horses and 1,200 brilliant lights. It must on anyone's list to visit when in New York.
In 2011, the famous musical Hamilton by Lin-Manuel Miranda was opened to positive reviews. It won a record-breaking 11 Tony Awards and even a Pulitzer Prize of Drama. This also kept
Hamilton on 50 cent dollars. So that's your history lesson. Now welcome Eva and Daisy to tell us more about museums.
Being a cosmopolitan city, New York has some of the best museums in the world. Here are some to highlight. If you're a fan of dessert, then Museum of Ice Cream is for you. When they opened it in 2019, its founder, Netherlands said her plan was to change the world. The museum is decorated with bright color. It also has many fantastic exhibits like the rock candy cake. It's located on 558 Broadway and costs $48 per person.
The Metropolitan Museum of Art, or MET, has been around since 1874, located on the edge of Central Park on Fifth Avenue. The Met is one of the largest and most visited museums in the world, with about 6.5 million visitors a year. It has located some well-known paintings such as Bridge Over a Pool of Water Lilies by Monet.
Another popular museum in New York is the Museum of Modern Art, or MoMA for short, opened in 1929. It's located at West 51st Street. One of the museum's main attractions is Van Gogh's Starry Night. For an outdoor experience, consider a visit to the Intrepid Sea, Space, and Air Museums on West 46th Street on the Hudson River. Opened in 1982, it's a collection of floating museums, such as the retired aircraft carrier USS Intrepid. It also includes the September 11 Tribute Museums, which features exhibits about the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001.
This is Houdini Museum. Harry Houdini was known as the greatest magician, escape artist, and stunt performer in history. Besides learning about the man and his life, visitors can also buy some magic props in the museum gift shop. In Lower Manhattan, you can visit the National September 11 Memorial Museum, which opened in 2011. The museum is used to commemorate the September 11 attacks. And it is a short walk from One World Trade Center, the reverse side of Twin Towers. By the way, the One World Trade Center is the 7th tallest building in the world, so the view of the city is amazing.
While museums are interesting, New York has a number of interesting outdoor attractions. Our next presenter, Nadia and Tiffany, will share some of their recommendations.
Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about some popular places in New York City. New York is such a big city that it's impossible to be born there. But with so much to do and see, how do we know where to start? Well, we're going to recommend 5 must-see places to you today. First of all, the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty is one of the most famous monuments and symbols of New York. Although many people think it's in New York, it is actually in New Jersey. Originally a gift from France, she has a crown on her head with 7 points, said to represent the 7 seas or the 7 continents. She is holding a stone tablet that written in Rome in her left hand, which symbolizes the rule of law. And in her right hand, she is holding a torch, which represents freedom. With visiting the Statue of Liberty, remember that June is the best month with fewer clouds and nicer weather. Next is Grand Central Station. Grand Central Station is the biggest and busiest terminal in the world, with more than 750,000 people passing through it every day. Actually, there was a famous Korean boy band, BTS, performed a song called Arms at the Air. It brings the most shocking performance to ARMY fans all over the world. And there is one curious fact about its design is that you can whisper to the wall and it will bounce across the ceiling so your friend can hear you at the other end. Also, if you get messy enough, you can enter the Campbell bar and enjoy a glass of wine or beer. Another icon of New York is the Charging Boat, located on Wall Street. It looks golden and shiny, so it's a very important symbol of happiness and booming economy. Many people visit it and have it bought for their business. And other people touch the hand of it because they think if they do that, they can learn more knowledge from it. Here, you can see that it's much bigger than people. It actually weighs more than 3,000 kilograms, and it sits in the middle of the street. This is at the very top of the Central Park, and the picture next to it is the Black House. Actually, the Black House is a little bit tricky to find, but it's worth discovering because it's the oldest building left standing in Central Park. It was built in 1814. By the way, this is Cleopatra Needle. It's right behind the Metropolitan Museum of Art. There you can have a picnic in front of a 3,000 years old office. Central Park is really an amazing place. What makes New York City so special? Times Square is a big part of it. Times Square is a major tourist destination and probably the most well-known part of the city. It includes fashion stores and famous characters willing to pose for pictures. Times Square is also home to the Broadway Theater District, and is well known for its ball drop on New
Times Square is one of the most interesting places in the city.
As for how to get to all this stuff on your itinerary, Eric and Kevin are next with some advice.
Thank you.
Because New York is such a big city, after all, it's made up of 5 boroughs. You have to know how to get around. There are several ways to get where you want to go. Buses are one way to get where you're going in New York. And the city has a large bus system, which come very pretty regularly, usually every 5 to 15 minutes. About 11% of daily commuters take a bus. A ride of a local route will cost you about $275, which is the same as a subway ticket. If you want to arrive faster, $675 will get you a spot on one of express buses. By the way, when visiting New York, it is important to remember the city bus only take MTA cards. Paper money are not accepted. Sorry. One interesting fact about New York buses is that on the late night buses, bus driver will let you home whenever you want, as long as they think it is safe. I doubt many bus drivers will do that in Taiwan. This is a city bus in New York. As you can see, there are so many bus lines that you can see very clearly in the picture. There are about 5 different colors of bus line, and every color includes lots of bus lines. It gives you an idea how busy New York City is.
Taxis are also an easy way to see New York City. The basic cost of a ride is $2.5 plus 50 cents for every 1/5 of a mile or every minute. Taxis accept credit card, cash, or certain easy pay apps. If you're in New York City, you might notice that there are 2 colors of taxi. One is yellow and the other is green. Though yellow is the more recognizable of the two. Green taxis are just taking people to and from New York City, the outer boroughs, while yellow kinds are mainly in and around Manhattan. Since the rise of the ride-hailing services like Uber and Lyft, New York taxi drivers have had a hard time. That's because operating a taxi requires what's called a taxi monopoly, which in the past could cost almost $1 million. As a result of competition, the value has dropped, and many New York drivers have had trouble making a living.
Taking a train is also a good way to travel to and from New York from further away. When you're taking a train in New York, you will notice that there are 2 kinds of train. One is local train and another is express train. The local trains stop at all stations, but local express trains skip most of smaller stops. If you are in a hurry, you can try it. And the train system is more simple than the bus system. There are only 5 train lines in New York. They connect the 5 boroughs. Taking a train is a good choice to travel in New York beside a bus. It is faster and easier to understand, but the bus is more convenient.
One of the more interesting ways to travel in New York is the ferry. If you need to go to any of the outer boroughs or New Jersey, it can be easier than driving. Many local people take ferry to work, but for a tourist, it's an essential New York experience. The ferry is fun, and it offers some great views for the city. There is another common way to travel in New York City. Taking a subway is the easiest and the quickest way, and the next group will tell you more about it.
Thank you.
In a city of almost 19 million people, New York can get pretty busy. Every day, millions of people need to get from point A to point B and back. Fortunately, New York has one of the most extensive metro systems in the world, an average of 5.7 million people rides a year. First opened in 1904, the New York City subway system now sees about 1.7 billion rides a year.
New York is a busy city. Most people travel by subway. And every day, more than 6 million people take the subway. See, this is what the busy station looks like at rush hour. Crazy, right?
This is a metro card. It's just like the MRT Easy card in Taiwan. Just swipe your card to the card reader when you enter or exit the station. If you buy a one-way ticket, you can only use it once.
Part of what makes the subway system in New York so convenient is the number of stations. There are more than 470 stations in New York City. It's the ninth busiest metro system in the world. There are more than 6,000 cars in operation at any given time.
The subway in New York is sometimes a wild place. It's known to get rather messy after a long day of service. For example, this carriage is full of garbage, uneaten food, unknown liquid, spit, and who knows what else. In the picture, dozens of garbage bags are piled up next to the door. What a mess.
Subway cars don't last forever. To get rid of them, the MTA had a clever idea, and the way they deal with them is to make them into artificial reefs. Most of the seafloor near New York is made of sand. Most sea creatures don't have any place to live. So before they're dumped into the sea, everything that may be harmful to fish are taken out. For example, light bulbs, air conditioners, and seats. And the last step is to throw them into the sea. Splash. Okay, let's welcome the next group to talk about some New York foods.
Being a dessert cosmopolitan city, New York has a lot to offer food-wise. There is no shortage of places to eat and kind of food to try. Here are the top 5 foods you must try if you ever visit New York. One of the most common foods you'll find in New York is pizza. It's become popular because of the Italian immigrants who settled there. For a dollar slice, pizza is one of the cheapest and most delicious options. Just like the picture on the left, it's really big and it has a lot of toppings on it. The local favorite pizza shop is Champion Pizza on Exeter Street. It is the amazing pizza. It only costs $2 for a slice, but they have a bunch of different kinds. So, next time when you find yourself in New York, don't miss this fantastic shop.
Another essential New York food and maybe obvious, bagels. Bagels are boiled and come with cream cheese. Like a picture on the left. It has a lot of cheese in it and is very creamy. Also, they have eggs and many special flavors that we don't have in Taiwan. Like the picture on the right. This kind of flavor is not really common in Taiwan, but other countries often eat them for breakfast. Bagels are not only delicious, but they are also usually cheap. It is only $3 for a really big bagel, and it's a good choice for breakfast too. So, give it a try the next time you find yourself in New York City. Next, a trip to New York wouldn't be complete without trying one of their many excellent sandwiches. The most popular sandwich is arguably pastrami sandwich. There are many sizes of the sandwiches in the world, and like the picture on the left, I think this is probably the biggest size in the world. Actually, I'm really curious about how can someone eat such a huge sandwich. It's made with a pile of beef and yellow mustard and served on toast. Although this sandwich is really common, some people may say that the pastrami sandwich is kind of expensive, but I think it is still worth it to try it once. So if you want to try some sandwiches in New York City, I recommend this one.
Finally, Finally, most of you are familiar with hamburger strike. Everyone has been to New York, but you can say you ever had hamburger until you try one from New York. People may ask, what's the difference between the McDonald's burgers and New York burgers? Between these two, New York burgers are thicker than the McDonald's burgers, and New York burgers have more meat. In the picture, the burgers on the left is New York burgers. It's really big and it has a lot of cheese and meat. But the burgers on the right only has a piece of meat and a few of vegetables. I think I'll go with New York burgers the next time I visit New York. Although people in Taiwan may think that McDonald's burgers are good enough. If you try New York burgers, your life will never be the same.
Finally, you can't say that you visit New York City without trying their cheesecake. It is very different from spongy cake. The New York cheesecake tastes sweet but cheesy and tangy at the same time. Also, many native New Yorkers put some fresh fruit and jam on theirs. Although the New York cheesecake is not as cheap as a slice of pizza or bagel, it is still favorite among locals. So, if you like dessert, why not try it once the next time you visit? So, those are the top 5 foods that you must try in New York City. Which is your favorite? Personally, I like to try the New York cheesecake.
Next, let's welcome the next group to tell us more about the sports in New York. Thanks.
If you're into professional sports, New York is a great place to be. With its 5 boroughs, New York is home to 11 professional teams, if you count soccer. However, only 7 of these teams are actually in New York City.
For basketball, the Knicks are located in Manhattan and play at Madison Square Garden. They won 2 championships and were ranked top in the NBA for 2019. Some of the Knicks All-Star players are Carmelo Anthony, Jeremy Lin, and Patrick Ewing. Tickets to the Knicks game are the most expensive in the NBA, with an average ticket price of $176, or 5,000 to 6,000 NTD. Whoa! The Brooklyn Nets, on the other hand, were ranked 7th in the NBA last year. They play at Barclays Center. A ticket will send you back to $80. Some of the Nets All-Star players are Kyrie Irving, Julius Irving, and Jeremy Lin, who play for Knicks as well.
If you want to get your baseball game, head to the Bronx, where you can watch the Yankees play. The Yankees played their first game in 1903 and have won 27 World Series titles, the most of any Major League Baseball team. Some of the Yankees All-Star players are Derek Jeter, Luis Severino, and Ichiro Suzuki. The Yankees got a new stadium in 2009. It only cost $2.3 billion US. If you get hungry, grab a $3 hot dog or a $6 beer. But stay away from the popcorn. It's almost 2,500 calories. You'll get fat if you eat that too often. Another great New York baseball team is the Mets. The Mets play in Citi Field in Queens. Did you know that Citi Field is as new as the Yankee Stadium? They were both built in 2009. Unlike the Yankees, however, the Mets have only won 2 World Series titles. Some of the Mets All-Star players are Mike Piazza, Tom Seaver, and Noah Syndergaard.
After watching some baseball game, you may want to go to a football game. For football, the New York Giants is one of the football teams in New York. They play at MetLife Stadium. MetLife Stadium is enormous. It can hold up to 82,000 people. That is 50% bigger than Yankee Stadium. Wow. They are a pretty nice team too. They've won 8 Super Bowl titles. Their all-star player, Eli Manning, is a household name. He has a brother who also played in the NFL, Peyton Manning. He's the first pick in 1998 and sometimes compared to the GOAT, which stands for Greatest of All Time, Tom Brady.
Hockey is also a popular sport in New York.
and the Rangers is one team worth watching. The Rangers played in Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks play. They were a great team before, but they didn't play well last season. They only won 32 out of their 82 games. Wah, wah, wah.
Hot dogs is a delicious food which Americans like a lot. You can get some while you watch a sport game in New York. I suggest you to buy some hot dogs in the Yankee Stadium because they're only $3. That is cheap. By the way, they can sell 20,000 hot dogs a game. That means they can earn a lot of money besides the tickets.
While most people will agree that a ticket to a Yankees game is expensive, the price isn't bad compared to other New York teams. As you can see from the chart, the New York Giants got the highest price. It's almost $750 US. If you change it into NTD, it's $22.5 thousand. You can even buy 500 bubble milk tea with that. That's a lot. Thanks.
Thank you, presenters. That was great. Who knew there were so many sports teams in New York? Or that Hamilton won so many awards? Or that you can have a picnic beside a 3,000-year-old obelisk in Central Park? I don't know about you, but I know where I'm going on my next vacation. Please join me in giving everyone a big round of applause.